Today's probably when I start camp properly. The last few weeks have just been getting back up to like where I need to be, getting fit again, doing some rounds, getting the feeling for it. So yeah, the next 8 weeks are going to be interesting. Going to be hard graft, but yeah, feeling really excited.
People might not be quite as familiar with you. So obviously you had a bit of a break.
Yeah.
Could you maybe give a bit of a background to yourself and why you had that break?
Yeah.
And how you got started?
So I started training like way back in 2008. So what was that? 15 years ago now. Mixed it up at like amateur semi. There was a thing called semi-pro when I first started. I don't think it even exists anymore. But I fought an amateur semi-pro like on the regional circuit. Did quite well. Like I exceeded my own expectations. I think I amassed a 7-1 record at amateur. So then, jumped up to pro maybe like 2010, 11, and fought 6 times, went 6-0 pro between like 2010, 11 to 2015. Wasn't always like too active because I was balancing it like with like full-time work and like responsibilities. So I was always a bit of a hobbyist, but like really enjoyed what I was doing. So yeah, went 6-0. My last fight was October 2015, 8 years ago this month, next month because it's still September. So yeah, it's been 8 years. It wasn't, my last fight was never supposed to be my last fight. I just finished that fight, wanted to get me rematched, got rematched, the guy pulled out, got rematched again, I then pulled out because I injured my knee, and then it just bounced around a bit with injuries, and then the years just rolled by. I got fat, really fat, went up to 123 kilograms. COVID happened as well, and then I think life took over. Got promoted at work, had a baby, stuff like that. So there's all been a whole wide array of things. I had a few mental health issues for quite a little while. So yeah, I was never really in the right place mentally or physically to fight, and then managed to turn things around this year. Lost a lot of weight, started running, started training. I always kind of kept a foot in the door with training because I was coaching jits at Stealth in Teesside. So yeah, the stars aligned, and I thought, why not? The form too old, 37 now, have another go.
Why now to come back? But you said before you get too old, but what is the real motivation there?
So, as I say, my last one was never supposed to be my last one. It was just like I was a victim of circumstance. So like I've always had that itch. Like I always knew like I would love one more, and I've always said it to people, I would love one more. But as I say, weight issues, like personal circumstances, it just never really like happened. Like there was a few times where I was like, yeah, I might do it, and then it never really came off. And yeah, I think I just wanted to scratch that itch, and this year I got down to like under 90 kilos, which is probably even too light for a middleweight. Did some grappling tournaments, did a half marathon, all went really well, felt good physically, mentally. So I thought, do you know what, let's scratch this itch, let's go back and do it. Close that chapter on my own terms. So yeah, I'm hoping it's my last one, but if I win, I don't know, who knows, I can be a little bit impulsive. So yeah, I'm saying it's my last one, but yeah, who knows.
Does it feel like the sport's changed much whilst you've been away?
I think so, yeah, massively, yeah. I think I don't know why, the thing I realise the most is calf kicks. I've been doing some rounds the last few weeks, and I keep getting calf kicked. And it sounds daft, but calf kicks weren't a thing back when I was fighting. And now people are throwing them like 5, 6, 7 times a round. So, I mean, there's much bigger changes than that, but that's the biggest thing I've kind of realised. But yeah, I think there's a lot of similarities, some differences.
How have you been learning to deal with them then?
It's a good question. I suppose that's what the next 8 weeks are going to be about, is kind of really trying to like embed kind of like some of that change in the sport over the years. I think the sport's still suited to someone like me. Like I've always been a wrestler, grappler. Like my striking's good, not great. My wrestling and jiu-jitsu has always been my strong point, so I've always been able to dictate where the fight goes anyway. So yeah, I think for me, I'll just be able to dictate the fight. Wrestling's changed a little bit. There's a lot more cage work. There's all the Dagestanis have took over kind of in the UFC, so there's a lot more kind of cage work, grappling on the cage, so I need to work a lot of that. So I'm at the right place for that. We've been doing a lot of that this morning as well. So yeah, I think it's changed, but I'm ready.
Are you spending this fight camp at TFT then?
Yeah, so I'm going to do majority of my training here. Found a really good home here. Going to still be doing a little bit of Stealth T-side, so I do a little bit of coaching there, doing a little bit of JIT and fitness there. And yeah, I've been invited to a few other gyms, so I might go across to a few others to get some good rounds with people. So I've been speaking with Alex Enland over at SPG South Shield. Yeah, might go there, might go through to Newcastle Fight Academy if I get a chance with Pete Irvin. I've been doing some rounds with Michael Chamorro here, so yeah, who knows? Majority of it here, but I would like to try and travel around a little bit and get as many hard rounds as I can.
Yeah. How do you feel like the UK MMA scene has changed?
That's a good question. I feel like I'm going to say quantity over quality. Like, I think when I was fighting, quantity was there. There was a lot of fighters, there was a lot of shows. Anywhere you looked, there was kind of a show every weekend here, show every weekend there. But now I feel like it's slowed down a bit, but the qualities went up. So yeah, there's less shows, there's less fighters, but the fighters are better, the fighters are stronger. I think wrestling in the UK has got a lot better. I think that's reflecting the fact we've got a lot more fighters in kind of the UFC, in them big shows as well. So yeah, I think the qualities went up. I think the sport slowed down a little bit from when I was fighting. I think it kind of reached that peak and explosion. Everyone wanted to do it, so there was a lot more shows, a lot more fighters. So yeah, the quantity was there, but now quality has certainly went up, and I'm feeling that in some of the rounds. Yeah.
You were mentioning having that itch and wanting to get back, but in particular, how did the fight sort of come round with Cage Warriors in particular?
It's a good question. So when I first started fighting, you'd get matched up on the Cage Warriors forums. So it was like an old school internet forum that you'd get matched up on and stuff. And so I've always been a big fan of Cage Warriors. There's the show, the forums, and along the way I'd always set myself a goal. I didn't want to set all these unrealistic goals, so I always set one goal at a time. And my first one was to train. My second one was to fight amateur, and then it was to fight pro, and blah blah blah. My last one that I achieved was to fight in Middlesbrough. Because all my fights have been kind of outside of Middlesbrough. I'm from Middlesbrough, so my last fight in October 2015 was to fight in Middlesbrough. The next one after that was I'd said a big show, a top 3 show. And that was my aim, and so yeah, Cage Warriors, I wanted something like Cage Warriors, Bellator, something like that, but I think I had Ian Dean's number from back in the day, the Cage Warriors matchmaker. I messaged him.
Still the same one.
It's still the same one, still had the same. In fact, I messaged him on Instagram first, didn't get a response, so I messaged him via WhatsApp, got a response, and I think he was rightfully I don't want to say concerned, but he was right. He had his reservations because I hadn't fought in 8 years. So I had to kind of persist, message him a few times, convince him why it was a good idea. So I kind of mentioned, look, I've got a few grappling tournaments coming up. I'm back in it. I'm doing well. I'm in good shape. I'm down to got 90 kilos. I'm good for it, kind of thing. So yeah, I just messaged him a lot, persevered, and he came round to it. And then the first fight he offered me was Douglas, and I looked at his record and I thought, shit, he's good. I suppose because I've got a 6-0 record, even though I've had a long layoff, I think I was always going to have to come back to a hard fight. So yeah, offered me the fight and I thought, yeah, let's go for it. Why not? I forgot to lose.
Have you watched his fights? What do you think of him?
Yeah, I've watched his fights. So I think he's had 3 in Cage Warriors now. I think he's 1 and 2. He's good, really good. He's quite tall, similar height to me. So I'm quite used to being the taller fighter, having the range advantage and kind of sitting on the end of my jab. So I'll have to kind of change that up a little bit. But the last guy I fought, Abby Jack, he was the same height, so that doesn't pose any major concerns. Yeah, some of his fights sort of went the decision. He slows down quite a lot after that first round. I think he comes out fast, comes out with a lot of energy, slows right down. I think that plays into my style. I have a good gas tank, or at least I did when I last fought. It doesn't seem to have went away in the rounds I've done so far. So my fitness is building nicely. So I think for me, it's a hard fight. But I kind of wanted a hard fight. I would rather have a big hard fight than kind of just come back, have an easy fight, and then. Yeah, so for me, I needed that hard fight to motivate me. But yeah, I think he sometimes fades in the fight, so I think that's where I'll get him in the later rounds.
What was the reaction been like from your friends and family to tell them you're getting back in the cage again?
Mixed. I think family were a bit shocked. My dad wasn't too pleased. So my wife, she's a bit nervous. Because I met her after my last fight, so she has never actually seen me fight. So it was always just this kind of myth that I used to be this fighter and used to be in good shape. And yeah, I think it's all kind of becoming a reality for her now. So I think kind of family, a bit nervous, a bit scared, but friends have been very supportive. There's been a lot of excitement. Like literally, the Cage Warriors Instagram page posted it all out, and my phone blew up. Like I forgot I had so many friends. Yeah, I got like people like messaging me, like some people ringing me. Like it was. I was at kind of the in-laws at the time, just like having dinner, and like my phone just started going mental, and I had to like excuse myself from the table because I was just getting calls and stuff, and I didn't know what was happening at first. I didn't know it actually like being put out. So yeah, I knew it was kind of like because I'd signed the contract a few days before, and like Ian had said like it'll come out soon, like watch this space. But I kind of half thought like I'd get like a nudge and then I'd like be able to tell people, or I'd get the poster first, and actually, but it was just bang, done, sent. And like I looked at my phone, I was like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, I think from friends really positive, from family positive, but I think it just a little bit more nerves mixed in there as well. But yeah.
Still a good few weeks to go, but what can people expect from your fight? How do you think it's going to go?
Yeah, so 8 weeks to go. I don't want to give too much away, but I think for me, I am a good fighter on fight night. Like I've never been the best fighter in the gym. Like I'm a good fighter in the gym. Like, but for me, I think I'm quite an intelligent fighter. I don't get carried away with the nerves. I don't get carried away with the excitement. Like. So come fight night, I become a better fighter for it. So like my mental capacity in the fight is always great. So I'm quite good at kind of like adapting in the fight, reacting in the fight. My last fight I went the full distance. It ended up being an absolute slog. I reacted quite well. So I think for me, he's young, he's fit, he's explosive. I think I'm just gonna have to kind of like ride that wave, like adapt as I go through, kind of like strike with him. Try and mix it up, try and take him down. But yeah, it's just about reacting to him really. I don't want to go in with too much of like a set game plan and say I'm going to do this, this and this, because I think if you do that and then it gets thrown out the window, that's where kind of shit, like it goes to shit and things break down. So for me, I have a rough outline. I know where my strengths are, I know where my weaknesses are, but I know that I can adapt quite well in a fight. So I think my fight IQ is probably going to win it for me. But yeah, it's probably going to be a lot of mixing it up. Bit on the feet, bit on the ground, bit of cage work. Yeah, I'm excited.